Okay, this week we're going to talk about the third phase of the problem-solving process, and that's or the design process, and that is solution implementation. First phase was problem formulation. Second phase, problem solving, figuring out what you're going to do, and then finally, do it. This is the do it phase. Okay, plan, implement, evaluate. Those are the three steps. You got to manage critical resources, time, people, money, and other things too, budget, and so forth. So what we have here is a triangle: scope, cost, and time. And I told this story in a previous slide, but I had one boss one time, and I made a Gantt chart. We're going to see what those are in just a second. And I gave it to him for a project, and he said, "We need this done in half the time." And I said, "Okay. Are there some activities that we can deliver first and then the others can wait?" And he said, "No." Okay. In other words, I was going to do one activity earlier in the project and another activity later in the project, rearrange the order of the activities I accomplished. I thought, okay, we can hire some outsiders. Here comes cost. If we had a higher budget, we could go get people from the outside to work on this. He said, "No, we don't have the budget." Okay, and we can reduce the scope. We can scale it back from what we originally did. So if we don't have the budget and we don't have the time, then we can make it a smaller project. He said, "No, that's not acceptable either." And I said, "You're not giving me any room to work." So he just threw it back and said, do it. He was kind of frustrated, and I was frustrated with him anyway. So we have to manage this. The one thing you guys, our time, one semester for our project, the cost, kind of low. It's coming out of your pocket, so we got to figure things out that don't cost a lot. You don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on a project unless it's a project you want to do for your personal use and all that stuff, and you keep it and go home with it. Scope, because of our COVID thing, normally we'd have a budget we could get some materials for you at, but this year we have no way to get materials to you. So scope is one thing you do have control over. And one problem beginners have is they try to do too much. I talked to an electrician and I asked him, "How long does it take to install a light switch?" And he said, "Oh, it takes about half an hour." I said, "Okay, tell me." And then, of course, he's been doing this forever and ever. So tell me, how many can you do in a day? He said 8. I said, wait a minute. Half an hour each, that means 16. So when you say a half an hour, that doesn't include the time of running out to your truck, getting the equipment, getting the switch, all the rigmarole that goes into installing a light switch. So in reality, it takes about an hour to install it. And he said, "Yeah, that's right." So that's why you have to really think about scope. What you think is easy, maybe you could knock it off. It always takes longer. Just want to warn you about that as you plan. One thing you can do is some risk analysis. Now, we have a template, the Gantt chart. The way a Gantt chart is constructed is you put your activities down the left side, starting with the first ones to the last ones. And your timeline, in this case, the time increment is days, timeline across the top, and then your plan. Now, here's milestones. These are major milestones. These activities go underneath this milestone. This bar corresponds to the milestone. These are the activities under the milestone right here. This is on my Google site. This template is on the Google site. We'll go to that in just a second here. Here's my site. And we'd go to our class, obviously. It'll open up a Google Drive. And naturally, it takes a while. So we come to the site. Don't forget grading criteria. But here's Gantt charts. Gantt chart planner for 15 weeks, which is the one you saw. Gantt chart planner for the summer, which is a shortened, abbreviated period. Let's take a look at this one. This is the mechanical engineering program planned out for the 2 years that you're here. Now we have to download it. You can't see this stuff in Google Slides. You gotta. It uses PowerPoint, so we got to download and open it. Okay, it's downloaded. Now we open our way. Okay, let's enable editing so we can take a look at things. Come on, enable editing. Come on. Enable me. Don't wait. Slow computers. Okay. And I don't want to be way over here. I want to scroll to the far left. There we are. Now, this is the project that you saw in the PowerPoint slide. And I'm looking at this and saying, discussions with the customers, it should only take like 14 days. It shouldn't take 24 days. So let's go ahead and update it. And you'll notice the purple bar shrank when I did that. Let's see, do I have one that's a formula? None of these are formulas. Look, we can send members of the team out to do, everybody can do something. Not everybody has to be involved with discussing it with the customer and the users and everybody. So we can change all of these. Let's take 2 weeks to do that. Let's not take a long time. Now, this here, what you can put a formula in these Excel shit cells, just like anything else. So what it's doing is it's looking for the first time an activity under this milestone starts. And that would be the minimum of these cells. And this is, and I still had that cell open, so I don't want to do that. Okay. This is the maximum of these 3 activities. Let's see, go back to the formula. Anyway, maximum of several activities. C and D, good. Maxes, maxed plan start plus duration. So C plus D is start plus duration. C plus D is start plus duration. Minus the minimum. So it's when the first activity under this milestone starts is when we start the bar, the purple bar. When the last activity under this milestone ends, we stop the purple bar. That's it. And these other ones work the same way, except they work with the green and blue bars. You know, when did you actually start? When did you actually finish? And if I just erase them, the bars go away. You just have the purple bars. So you just have to worry about start, finish, and so forth. Okay, so you can put formulas in here so that if you change one thing up here and it ripples down to other things, it'll automatically update the sheet. Okay, so that's a quick lesson on how to use this spreadsheet. I'm going to end the video here and we'll pick it up in the next video.